Hey everyone, Brad here. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your new year is off to just a tremendous start. I know for both Ashley and I, actually, it's been a pretty special start to the new year for us. And I know some of you who work closely with me or have seen me recently know this, but for the rest of you, good a time as any to announce that Ashley and I have a little bundle of joy that is supposed to arrive on May 5th. So we are, over the moon, beyond excited. We feel so blessed. Most importantly, through every visit that we've had so far, it's been nothing but a healthy baby and, good heartbeat, strong heartbeat, 10 fingers and toes. And it's a boy, if I didn't just mention that. So really not sure what else could be a better for Ashley and I in this year. And certainly hope that all of you are full of your own wonderful family time that you shared over the holidays. And again, off to a great new year. So with that, I actually wanted to do a special kind of video email today rather than our normal one that goes out each week, specifically to update everybody on this new law that was passed called the Secure Act. Okay, so the Secure Act is probably the biggest law change affecting retirement plans that we've had in 10, 15 years, maybe more, give or take. So what I want to do today is not have an overly long email and really long explanation. I really just want to talk about the highlights and specifically how it relates to you. So please know that we also are going to attach kind of a full breadth and scope of every little nuance of the law. What I will say is that the point of this video is to let you know what's actually what, and there's really only a couple key things. Okay, so you might hear a bunch of other clauses. Again, we'll attach it, but really what I want to do is just summarize the real important highlights. So there are a couple things that are meant to make it easier for just retirement planning in general. So things like making it easier for small businesses to enroll participants in a 401k plan, wanting 401k plans to include annuities in the plan. That's a whole other conversation about how that could be a good thing and certainly could be a bad thing depending on who's in charge of that. By the way, the main reason they want to do that is this country is realizing that we have to live 25, 30 plus years in retirement, a lot of us, without pensions. And so they're searching for some investment vehicle in 401ks that's not just about growth, but something that people can use in their 401ks to help with lifetime income needs. So certainly that's the motto, the theme of everything we do here at Epstein & White. So not to brush over that too much, which is we are starting to, I think, hopefully in the masses, understand what here at Epstein & White and here we've preached to all of you, which is it's all about income in retirement, and we've got to make some changes, right? Because 30 something years ago when we first created these 401ks, a lot of things have updated. So again, just to throw that as a side, what's really important for you is two main things. If you're our clients, that means you're just about retired or already have. So what's really important for you? First and foremost is your required minimum distributions, RMDs. The rule has always been the year you turn 70 and a half. The calendar year you turn 70 and a half, that's your first RMD year. That is now changed to the calendar year in which you turn 72 years old. Now, here's what's important. If you have already reached the calendar year where you turn 79 and a half as of the end of 2019, then you are under the old laws. So that's kind of unfortunate for some people, but you still have the required minimum distributions. If you turned 70 and a half last year or previous years, nothing has changed. You will still have the same schedule you've always had. So you're kind of grandfathered into that. This law doesn't affect you whatsoever, I guess, in so many words. However, if you hadn't reached 70 and a half by the end of the year, you are now on a brand new schedule, which is basically an age 72 and beyond schedule. The percentages are exactly the same as the schedule before. It's really just kind of delaying things by a year or two, depending on your birthday. So you might be able to tell that while that could help some of you who weren't looking to take money out of your retirement accounts at age 70 and a half or 71, again, I think that's not the real big part of this overall law. It really just kind of keeps things the same and delays them a year or two. Now, real quickly on this, if you are a husband and wife, if you're a spouse of any kind here, and you inherit your spouse's IRA accounts, they're still your IRA accounts. You will still have your own required minimum distributions if you are 72 and older. So nothing really changed in this law for spouses. But the biggest change of all is if you wanted to inherit, or if you are going to inherit a retirement account, either an IRA or a Roth IRA of any kind, if you're going to inherit as a non-spouse. So if you're younger than 10 years and you're a non-spouse of the person who deceased, this is the big deal. And it is that there is no such thing anymore as a lifetime stretch inherited IRA for people. Currently, if you inherited an IRA from, let's say, your parents as an example, you will have your own required minimum distributions, not on your own lifespan, but just what's a different schedule for inherited IRAs. So no matter what age you were when you inherited, you could be 30, 40, 50, 70, you'd have your own inherited RMD schedule, but you really only had to take that little bit out each year, stretch it out over your lives. That is unfortunately gone. So with this Secure Act, you will have to deplete your entire inherited account after 10 years. So if you have a traditional IRA and you inherit it, all of it has to be out of that IRA after year 10. Same thing with any Roth IRA. Now, there's no requirements on a yearly basis when you inherit this. It just has to all be gone by year 10. This is the much bigger deal, we believe, and most everybody believes, for our clients' demographics and for pretty much most all of you listening to this, because this really changes the scope on planning on if you had specific legacy goals of leaving retirement accounts to your kids. It also means more than ever, and I mean more than ever, some education towards your kids about what this law means. And in other words, they kind of can make bigger mistakes when they inherit your accounts if they don't understand what to do. As an example, if you had a traditional IRA and your kids never knew anything about this, they were never really trained or taught, they could just do nothing years 1 through 9 and deplete the entire account in year 10 because they have to, which might vault them into really huge unnecessary tax brackets and eat up a lot of that really account savings towards unnecessary taxes. Whereas had they been educated, maybe some planning on how they could take a little bit out 1/10 at a time, as an example, over the 10 years, might have had a better result. However, conversely, if they inherit a Roth IRA account, the exact opposite advice is what we'd want them to follow. We wouldn't want them to pull a little bit of money out every single year for 10 years. The Roth IRA continues to compound tax-free, and in that type of an account, it would behoove a child, in this example, to wait for the entire 10 years is up, assuming there's growth, not losses, to get those extra 10 years of tax-free compounding growth, because it's all tax-free and you don't go into any new tax brackets if you did it all in year 10. So you can see that for a lot of you, when we have these conversations of what are our plans with our retirement accounts, and a lot of you might say specific legacy goals of leaving things to kids, that may have warranted a certain strategy before this law, maybe not doing Roth conversions, maybe doing Roth conversions. I mean, could be a lot of different things. Those two come to mind. With this law changing, it probably doesn't change most everybody's strategies. It's not like we know every variable 20 or 30 years from now, or your kids' tax brackets, or things of that nature. But it certainly, I think, warrants a conversation on the next review you have with your advisor here at Epstein & White. I think maybe, again, a little more long-winded like I always seem to do here, but the main highlights I believe strongly, and all of us around here believe, is that yes, your RMD age might change a little bit. That's not the big part of the law. And if you don't have really specific or big legacy concerns whatsoever, then most everything I'm talking about is probably not a big concern for you. And it kind of just means this whole law has much to do about nothing for you. But we've certainly had enough conversations where legacy goals are important, and making sure you have the education from our team about what you've talked about in the past and what you care about hasn't changed. And that our strategies, because of this new law, has not changed. I suspect that to be the case for a lot of people, but no question, that's why we do what we do. That's why you're here, is when the world around us changes, check up with it with us and make sure that we're still doing the right thing. But I do firmly believe that the education of bringing your children, again, as an example, I know it could be certainly plenty of people that aren't children, but bringing whoever that is along to at least understand how to do the smart thing. And by the way, that could be as simple as we've got great heads on our shoulders of our kids or whoever our beneficiaries are. We've got a safe, or we've got something, or we've got the education to come see Epstein & White. God forbid something happens to us someday. And then certainly maybe that's all that your children or your beneficiaries need to know right now if you really don't want to give away, let's say, private information. And again, not to turn this into too long-winded, but that I believe is the bigger cornerstone here, is really understanding what this means for the retirement accounts for that next generation. Bigger deal of anything in this law. So as always, I can't stress enough, we're here for you. This is what myself and the advisory team talk about all week long. It's what really the rest of this company talks about all week long, is making sure that we continue to be there for you, because we know your world is going to change. We know the life around us is going to change. And while that doesn't happen every day, it certainly just did. Let's use this as a good time to, on your next review, have this conversation if you haven't already, or certainly to have it again to make sure we're still on track. Lastly, from the bottom of my heart and from everybody's hearts here, it is just an honor. It's a privilege to have the trust that you've placed with us to help you with your retirement planning, with your investment planning, with your legacy planning, and everything that we're in charge to do. It's something we think about every day, and I want to make sure that we're constantly delivering on that. So again, on a brighter note, Ashley and I are having a great year. We're off to an excellent year. I hope you all are as well. Reach out to us with any basic questions you have. Reach out to the personal contact you have in the advisory team here, and we look forward to seeing you next.